phone calls. Hey, about why they can't see you, but all right. Hey, Lucas, we good? We're gonna fire it up then. 3, 2, 1. Good morning, Rotarians. Good morning. And welcome to our regularly scheduled Wednesday morning meeting of the Rotary Club of Hudson. Today is what is today? The January 29th, 2025. And I am your Sergeant Lawrence Tom Tobin, pleased to be in this role. And let's see, what do we have? First of all, I want to acknowledge 2 guests with us this morning. Brian, Brian Day is Ralph Day's son. He's visiting from Eastern Pennsylvania, Philadelphia area. We're happy to have him today. And Anthony, everybody should have met by now. Anthony is a Hudson resident of 20 years, but he's also a member of a Rotary Club that I think he helped start in India. So we're happy to have Anthony with us as well. All right, I'm going to ask Phil Tobin to lead us. Let me just take one moment. This is the first day my dad is back from his fall. It's looking pretty good. Believe me, if you'd seen him a month ago, you wouldn't you'd be very impressed. So anyway, Dad, would you lead us in the invocations?
I will, Tom. Thank you. First, let me say how much I appreciate all your care and prayers for the recovery, because that was sort of a traumatic brain injury, and I'm back. So I'm here to terrorize you the rest of my time. Again, thank you so much for your prayers. And I'll see you in the
Grove Drive. How do you spell that?
Heavenly Father, bless us this time which we share, that we be ever mindful of thy will and our duties towards our goal of service above self. Lord, refresh us with this food and nourish our hearts and minds with the constant values that make us Rotarians.
Like this?
Open before us the way of peace and service and eternal life. In your name we ask it. Amen.
All right, very good.
Bingo.
And Ron Strobel, would you step up and lead us?
Zigo Blush. Just Zigo Drive. Oh, yeah. What are we doing? Red flag.
Morning, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one
now the formal test of the things we say we do. Number 1, 2, 3.
All done? All right, and I think that's it for the preliminary, so we'll all pay close attention to what Kelly has to say.
Thank you, Tom. Good morning, everyone. We've got a lot on the agenda today. Did everyone vote? All the ballots are out where you walk in, so if you want to go grab one real quick, because we're going to count those as the program goes on, and then we'll let you know at the end of the program the results of those nominations. A bunch of stuff I got to get through, but I think I'll wait until after our presentation today, with the exception of one issue, and that is Mr. Morse. Oh, come this way. Pleasure. Here? Well, I guess it don't matter. It don't matter. I hope my residuals still come in, even though I'm not on film. You'll check into that for me. Paul Harris. Paul Harris started, I think, in 1957. It's essentially how we as Rotarians give to projects and or to Rotary International or Polio Plus and other projects in which Rotary is a part of. So it hasn't really been around as long as Rotary has been around, but it is here in Hudson, it's an extremely important endeavor for all our members. And I'm proud to, I'm proud to induct the first of there's how many, Tom? Paul Harris levels are there? I believe there are 10 by virtue of the amount of monies in which you contribute, which are cumulative. And Mr. Morris, it's my pleasure to hand you that in your pin. So each every level. A little more value. Thank you. Okay. Congratulations.
Maybe names,
Thank you.
I'll go through it. There may be like a generic driver.
So, I will push the rest of this to the end. Marty, you want to come on up? Morning, Rotarians.
I thought it was just like-
I know you're.
Sunday, I'm gonna get.
I can't find this librarian beside that.
Go back to the
Tell us.
devices thing. 'Cause we're
So I know you're all ready for Groundhog's Day preparations. So, lovely to have you. Just want to thank everybody who came out for both our policy project presentations in December and also our kindness presentations in January. Thank you so much for giving your valuable time to the students in the service learning program. It was invaluable feedback. So I'm going to introduce our first student, and this is Aiden Cross.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Aiden Cross. And I wanted to tell you about my first semester and second semester site for service learning. My first semester site was at Happy Trails Animal Sanctuary. Happy Trails is a place where neglected and unwanted animals, farm animals, are sent to be cared for by the workers and volunteers there, where they will either live out the rest of their lives or potentially be prepared for readoption. Overall, it was a really amazing experience to see the care that these workers provided for the animals, as well as me providing care for the animals too. It was just a really great experience. My second semester site is at Akron UDS. It's in a program called Bravo. Bravo is a program where adults with special needs are able to go out and volunteer in their communities and help out.
somewhere where you can.
And that's also a
Change
really
it
amazing
forever.
experience that I'm glad to be a part of, due to the fact that
Go ahead and
just
do
really
the
great to
ad
see
tonight.
the work they're doing on both sides, the people that they're helping, and the people that are doing
I
it.
think I'll see it.
Overall, it's just really, I'm very lucky to be a part of it. Sorry about that. Next year, I have plans on studying urban planning. However, I'm not sure where yet.
Good morning, Rotary. I echo Marty's appreciation. Thank you so much for coming in and doing those kindness projects. The feedback was amazing, and our students are going to get it back actually And I'm going to introduce our next student. I wanted to come and I have both Aiden and Emily in class, and both exhibit
We want
wonderful,
to
I think, positivity, like radiate positivity in everything we do. Emily Goodman is a student who I have the pleasure of having for 2 years in a row. I had her last year in AP language and composition, and I have her this year in my service learning section. And she does an outstanding job in school and everything that she is a part of. So I'm gonna hand it over to Emily.
Morning, everybody. My name is Emily Goodman, and my site for first semester was Crossroads Hospice. And I'm next to but I want to go into nursing, and it was a really great experience. I get to see a wide variety of patients. It really taught me how to talk with talk about myself, because a lot of those patients are very kind of make conversations that are very experience. Get them to go and not and then one of our patients made a day first, so we talked to him the whole semester and compiled stories about his life and photos and gave it to him as a gift actually a couple weeks ago, and he was really appreciative and something I didn't family can have to look back on. My site this semester is Pet Social Services, which is food pantry. And this is kind of a different experience from a hospice, but it's been great. I stock a lot of food in the pantry and help in the kitchen a lot. And I talk to different people going through different struggles, kind of different from what I've experienced. But it's kind of both of these sites have been really special. So I know I'm making a difference in people's lives. And then for next year, like I said, I want to go into nursing, and I plan to probably go to a high school.
Again, thank you for having us, and we're just at the beginning of the selection process for next year. And we'll be in touch in the next couple of months in case anyone wants to come when we do our annual service trip. So thanks again.
Thanks, Marty. Thanks, Gina.
Is it?
All right, again, I'm gonna push the rest of the stuff to the after the meeting. So Dave, are you going
No, go ahead to the Zoom. They're starting to.
Good morning, fellow Rotarians and guests. It's my pleasure to introduce today's speaker. He is Dave Roasa, from Grove City Rotary Club. He will be sharing the Rotary plays in both supporting and staffing disaster aid headquartered in Maryland. He will be joining us via Zoom. He is actually from Columbus area. Rotary clubs have supported as well as staffed the 12 cargo rescue trailers in Ohio. Every member of the Disaster Aid Board of Directors are Rotarians. They will share the disaster aid operations and goals for District 6630. That's our Rotary district. Disaster Aid USA is a Rotary Club project that operates with Rotary's guiding principles. Grew to become its own 501c3 in 2010 and provides humanitarian aid and disaster relief to victims of natural disasters. To date, its teams have been involved in over 78 domestic and 91 worldwide deployments. Dave is a Disaster Aid Zone 30 director. He's been working with Disaster Aid USA since 2017, and he himself has been on 17 domestic deployments. He and his wife, Jan, are both on the board of directors. They are working to increase awareness of Disaster Aid USA and what Rotarians can do both in times of disaster. He's currently a real estate agent after working 30 plus years in IT sales. He and his wife have 3 children and 4 grandchildren. He enjoys bicycling and boating. Please join me in giving a warm Rotary welcome to Dave Roasa.
Thank you. I assume I can share a screen also, right? Can you hear me okay?
Speaking to the microphone. Yes, we can see your screen, and if you have anything you want to share, just share your screen, it'll be fine.
Okay. So as I said, I'm with Disaster Aid USA, and it is a Rotary project that's been around since 2010. And it's kind of funny that even within Rotary, it's a lot of Rotarians aren't aware of Disaster Aid USA as much like I was until about 2016. And I was in the Atlanta international conference going through the House of Friendship. And I, came across Disaster Aid USA in the House of Friendship, and I'm certainly glad I did, because I've been able to do a lot of great things with it. So my experiences is that if you were able to help us within this group, you're going to help save lives, inspire our volunteers, transform individuals, and empower our volunteers to do things they've never done, all the while following the Rotary statement. And that, so we follow hand in hand with Rotary, that's there. So who is Disaster Aid USA? Disaster Aid as you heard, is now a nonprofit. And I think it's really cool because we as Rotarians, we look for these projects to do. And this is one that actually two Rotarians, one out of Maryland and one out of Louisiana, came together to form this. And then they quickly became a 501c3. And, so this is one that follows all the Rotary guidelines. There's no paid employees. All of our officers on the board is a requirement in our bylaws to be Rotarians, but you don't have to be a Rotarian to help us either. We operate totally on donations and grants. So all the donations are allow us to do the things that we do. And our donor, we say our donors are and our volunteers are our heroes, because they're the ones that allow us to do the things we do. So I'll share a little bit about what Disaster Aid USA today. We'll go through some of the some of our deployments, and then we'll just kind of go to talk some general things. So there is a bigger piece to Disaster Aid USA. There's all the Disaster Aid USA, Disaster Aid Canada, Disaster Aid France. So that a lot of the countries have a disaster aid unit.
The screen looks like it's frozen, Dave. We're working on it.
I'm guessing it's from his end. Yeah. Can you send him a message? Awesome.
What should I say?
Just your screen is frozen, check on right now. Any messages of someone trying to log back in? What happens if someone joins? So they just can't remember. Do they just join?
Yeah, there's Sean.
Why don't you go ahead? If you have the results, go ahead so he can get logged in.
Okay, until we get this up and rolling, we got a lot of technology, huh? All right, hey, I'm gonna, while we have a moment, give you the results of the voting that took place earlier this morning. So in terms of officers, Keith Beers Congratulations for your president-elect for 25-26. Ed Rexroad, congratulations for treasurer of 25-26. Tom Tobin, congratulations for sergeant of arms for 25-26. And your three directors that will serve a term from 25 through 28 is David Basil, is Marilyn Ward, and Ed Silver. Let's look out the side somewhere.
I'm sorry, I'm back if it was me. Are you there?
We're here.
Okay. I don't know if that was me or you guys, but I reconnected. I'll just go ahead and continue if that's okay.
No, you want to just continue with the program?
Okay, I'll go ahead and continue.
Correct.
Okay. So when a disaster strikes, we actually, or even before disaster strikes, one of the big things about Disaster Aid USA is we bring trained individuals over. So most of the team lead or all the team leaders have been through some kind of training, whether it's FEMA training, Red Cross training, our own disaster aid training, things like that. And then when a disaster occurs, we start actually, and you may not be aware of this, but there's actually a very good network already established. And we're lucky in Ohio because that network is very connected and runs well from what I've seen in the disasters versus some of the other ones. But we start reaching out to the affected area, the district governors, the local authorities. And there's an organization that we belong to, which is called Ohio VOAD, and that's Volunteer Organizations Assisting in Disasters. And that organization works straight hand in hand with the FEMA group, or not the FEMA group, I'm sorry, the local response, volunteer response groups. And once it's safe, we start, coming into there. So once we decide we're going to deploy, I'm sorry, we have now been, across 80 different disasters, 67 of them domestic. And that changes every year. This year ourselves, the Ohio team, deployed on 5 different disasters, 2 in our state and 3 outside the state. That's there. We do have about 50 Rotarians and non-Rotarians that are part of our disaster aid team in Ohio. And our zone is constantly looking for us to, for our Rotarians to, respond and work in the disaster group. I know that Dale in 6630 is, we just had a kickoff meeting for their disaster committee. And they're asking each district to get a disaster committee going. But when we come, like I said, we bring trained volunteers. And what the concept is that, with our trained volunteers, we're able to take day volunteers and go out and help the homeowners on a disaster response. Our trailers are what we call our toolboxes, and they're full of the tools that we need to deploy that's there. So what do we do once we, this is our Zone 30 trailer. It's actually based out of Grove City, Ohio. And there's...
Dave, if you have a presentation, can you share that?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a PowerPoint presentation?
Yes. Are you not seeing this?
Yeah, could you please, if you share that again.
Okay. Let me, I thought I did, but I must not have. Coming over there.
So you saw
It start,
yeah, there we go. It's coming.
there it is.
Yep, we can see it now.
Okay. Sorry about that. So I'll back up one. So this is actually our Zone 30 trailer. And we've grown quite a bit in the United States this year or in the last 2 or 3 years. And I'll be honest, I've kind of lost track exactly how many trailers we have. But we're in the upper 20s now across the United States. For example, Florida has 10, just with the Florida response. But of course, they need they need that to be able to support the groups down there. But right now, Ohio has, well, Zone 30 has one. The goal would be put one in each state in Zone 30. So this trailer can go anywhere in the United States. It doesn't have to stay in Zone 30. We deployed most recently to Greenville, Tennessee. We did that just late last year. And Greenville, Tennessee is about 30 miles west of Asheville, North Carolina. So it was in that area, of area. So what do we do when we come? There's many, it really depends on what the need is there. But many times we'll have teams that cook meals or work in the distribution centers that's there. This particular slide is all Rotarians in this slide. This is a Hurricane Mitchell domestic response. And many times we team up with other NGOs, which is a non-government organization. In this particular case, we teamed up with Operation Blessing. But the Rotaries, a group, completely ran their food kitchen. And that trailer that you see there is a fifth wheel kitchen that the Rotarian teams cooked over 200 meals a day. For that deployment. We also clean out houses. So, whether it's a hurricane or a flood, we'll go into the home. We'll pull the personal contents out of the home and, do that work for the homeowners. And most likely, if we're pulling personal belongings out of the house, we're going to do something that we call mucking and gutting. So it's basically removing the drywall and the insulation and all that material, and we make it construction ready so that when we leave, the intention is that once the home's dried out, then whether it's been from a ceiling leak because a tree fell on the roof or whether it's been flooded for some reason, the homeowner will be able to do it. But that also includes pulling out all the flooring and things like this. So this particular one is actually out of Hazard, Kentucky. Here's a deployment out of San Diego last year, where you can kind of see. So we don't always pull all the drywall. We come about a foot higher than where the water lines were, and then we go in 2 foot increments because drywall is in 4 foot segments. So we'll go either 2 foot, 4 foot, or 8 foot type thing. That's there. This is kind of back down in Kentucky. So in this particular home, we pulled out all the flooring and raised this was paneling in there, but we cut the paneling up about a foot in this particular house so that the homeowner, we can get it dried and things like that. So we do spray it with a mold retardant. Prior to that, the night, usually if we work on it during the day, we'll put generators and fans into the house and try to dry it out overnight. And then we put a mold retardant that's on the walls to keep the mold from coming through. We'll tarp roofs. Most of the homes we tarp are a structure that you see here, a single story non-steep type structure. But this is actually the tornado in Kentucky a couple years ago now. That's there. This is another one where the house had a tree fall on its roof, and so we tarped the roof to keep water out. And then we went into the house and removed all the ceiling and the insulation that was in the ceiling that's there. And the gentleman, the lower left, is the gentleman that we helped there, and he was actually a veteran that actually rode that hurricane out. that's there. And the good side was the only damage in his house was that his dining room there. So it wasn't as, drastic as some of them we've seen. In Ohio, we've done a lot of chainsawing. In this particular example, this is in Northeast Ohio. So up in your guys' area, we were up there last fall. This is the before and after of the backyard of where a tree fell that's there. In the spring, we worked with the spring tornadoes that there. We couldn't get into, we tried to get into Indian Lake area. But then we found out that the Sunbury area in North Columbus actually had the tornado come through there. So we worked quite a bit in the northern part of the Powell area of Columbus and things like that, doing it. You can see some of the tree removal that's there on this. Excuse me. This is back to Hurricane Debbie. This is the last fall, and this is up in your area, Northeast Ohio. We were in Lakeside, working with Dale Smith's group, and the lower picture is the before and after on a particular home that had lost a row of trees. And what the insurance company did, as you can see from the before, is they came in and cleared everything off the driveway, and they just left the rest of that to the homeowner to decide what they were going to do and how they were going to get rid of it. And we see that a lot where they'll take it off the building, but not remove the tree. And each insurance company is different. That's there. Kind of showing you some photos and talk a little bit about other deployments we've been on. This is actually out of the Mississippi tornado that it's about a year, almost 2 years ago, I guess. We were down there working with the local Rotary Club there. So we actually met up with that Rotary Club, and the district governor that was there allowed us to come into his home, and he actually housed 13 Rotarians as we were working in his district to help with this deployment. On this particular, this was a double wide trailer, and you can kind of see there's a bed that's in that trailer. So this particular photo, the mattress that you see in the tree was the handicapped boy that his father got him out of the bed and into the hallway just before the tornado took the roof off the house there. So some additional photos from Mississippi deployment that's there. This is the district governor's house, and that you see on the right side, and district governor, like I said, allowed us to all come into his home and help do the work there. We pretty much will go anywhere. There has been a new team developed, and it's for the wildfires out west. So we do have someone in Washington that's actually built a trailer around wildfire deployments and helping homeowners recover or sift through the material that they have, to try to help find personal belongings with that. We do have a deployment into the LA area. And what we're doing there right now is we're providing relief packages to the first responders that have been working the fires. So we've been getting relief packages up into the areas so that the firefighters can continue to do the things that they do there. So some additional photos that on some mucking and gutting that's there. Seeing the photos, I think is a lot, is a lot there, tells you a lot. On this one, the lower right, that's the family that we actually help. A lot of times the families just dive right in with us and help us do the work in our house. So this, unfortunately, like this particular family they were displaced 18 months prior with a hurricane. They got back in their house and the second hurricane came through and flooded them out on a second time. And this was actually over in North Carolina area that's there. So, you can see that we make a difference and we help rebuild the communities together that's there. I really believe, and I see it, and I can see where we actually make connections. I've made connections all over the United States to Rotarians I would have never known. So we like in Mississippi, we had 6 different states, working that particular deployment with us. The one in of course, the most recent down in Nashville and things like that, and in Florida, we actually had 9 different teams out in 6 different states working at the same time, and that's by far the ones that are there. So we help, I believe we help transform our communities back together. We empower our volunteers to kind of do work, do the things that are there. And we're always looking for volunteers. So there's, like I said, there's about 50 volunteers across Ohio right now. But I'll also tell you that, when a disaster happens, those 50 people aren't just sitting around waiting. So, we'll lose, 3/4 of those people because they've got things they need to do. And so we're always looking to grow our team. Certainly, I'll send this presentation to you in a PDF so you can share it with your club if you'd like. And it's got our emails on it. Anybody that's interested would feel free to come in and drop an email, and we'd be glad to include you on the team. This is kind of a shot on the inside of our trailer. So we have racks that are in there. All of our tools and gear is in bins. So when we pull up to deploy, we just pull the bins out and put them on some tables and have the supplies that are there. This was an early shot, I'll say, because it's a lot more crowded than that now. But this is kind of the gear that we use that's there. I'll kind of stop there and I'll come out of the presentation. I'll quit sharing and take any questions that you might have.
Hey, thank you so much for that presentation. Really great. And we'll see if there's questions. Dave, do you get any federal grant funding? I know grant funding is a big source of income for you. Any federal grant funding?
No, most of the grant funding that we were seeing is either a company or a Rotary club. So we actually like, for example, in the most recent hurricanes that resulted in about 4 or 5 different grant opportunities where we helped the Rotary Club through our 501c3 to actually help with to start the recovery side of that. And they'll some of the grants will help pay for the expenses of the deployment team. So when we deploy, one of the many questions we get is, where do you stay? And it really, the answer to that is really depends. So like most recently in Greenville, Tennessee, we were able to find a church camp. And so the whole team stayed, we had 20 some people staying in a church camp and working the deployment. If we can't find something like that, we try to go, that's another thing that could, like when we were in Northeastern Ohio, we had a Rotarian that hosted 5 different people that came up and worked with your local Rotarians to do the work. And so, the second effort is we try to stay at a Rotarian's house. And of course, if we can't do that, we will rent a hotel, but we prefer not to because that, it allows our deployment dollars to go further.
Was there training that's required for this? Do your volunteers have to be trained for this?
I think the question is the training required for it? So if you're going to be a team leader for us, there is required training. And we, for example, we probably have 3 or 4 people that are in the progress of being a team leader. But if you're just a day volunteer helping us, there's no training involved. And I'll say this also. My wife says it all the time because we usually tag team a presentation together, but more than 50% of the workers are female. And so, it doesn't just need to be guys that, doing construction work. It's, there's a lot of females that come out and help us. And, Jan's all the time say, I've heard, many times in a presentation says, well, I won't fill my wheelbarrow up as high as somebody else, might, but, that you do kind of do what you can do. So, no training to volunteer, but if you want to become a team leader and, so a team leader can take the trailer and deploy, and then, they would then lead a team of non-trained people.
Also, do you get, I assume in almost all the places, I assume that in almost all the places there is a Rotary. Are you able to get local Rotary volunteers as well?
Yes, so we definitely try to get local Rotary volunteers. Sometimes that's a little skimpy, but we'll also, like when we go into it, we'll work with the emergency management group, and they will have a volunteer center. So sometimes we actually just report to the volunteer center in the morning and get the volunteers that are local, and sometimes there's a church groups and that we work with. So but Rotarians, is one, and is becoming more and more as we as everyone gets to know who we are, and as Zone 30 is asking districts to develop these disaster committees, that's raising awareness that we need Rotarian help. But when you think about it, there's no one better than Rotary, or any service organization, but especially Rotary, because if there was a disaster in the Hudson area, it's the members of your club or the leaders of this club are going to know what's needed and have the connections that we need, to be able to do the work, within your area.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much for the
Okay.
presentation.
Thank you. Like I said, I'll send you a PDF of this presentation, and our emails. So, I'm the Zone 30 director. There's a gentleman called Jim Gillespie. He's the Ohio director. He's happens to also be out of my club. He just retired recently. And so, I'll include both our contact information in case anybody wants to, reach out to us.
Appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
So that should make everybody feel pretty good. We can sit and talk about, bad things all day long, but the reality of it is, the network of people across this country that help in terms of issues. We have 2 students here today that are out there volunteering to make not only their own lives more enriched, but others as well. But look at all the things that, Dave's group does. And until last year, I was unaware that we even did this in Rotary. But it's a fascinating process.
So District 6630 is trying to organize our disaster relief committee right now. So if anybody is interested in getting involved in that committee on a district level, our district governor is actively looking for Rotarians that might be interested in getting involved in that. So if you're interested, I'll be happy to connect you with District Governor Dale. I know it's one of his top priorities as district governor this year is to get our district committee up and operating so that if there's a response that we need to do somewhere in our district, that we have our committee set up and ready to go.
Fantastic, thanks. Okay, there were 3 individuals that somebody, either themselves or somebody, wrote their name relative to nominating for secretary, for the role of secretary. What I thought I would do, because somebody was just joking around or somebody was actually serious, because one of them isn't here, so obviously they didn't write their own name down. I'll reach out to them individually by email and just see if there was an actual interest or not. So it kind of puts the pin in that issue. There's a board meeting on the 5th of February, which is next Wednesday. There is a foundation meeting on the 12th, which is the Wednesday following that. There is a gala committee meeting the 31st, which is this Friday, at the Hudson Community Foundation boardroom. Have a time. Noon. We are trying to put together a event. It would be midday, so you wouldn't come here in the morning. You would go there. We're trying to get it over at Peck's Foundation and hopefully getting a tour of the Old House to boot. More to come on that. We don't have anything sort of lined up just yet. Past President Terry is collecting monies for Salvation Army through end of the month. Okay. And the District 6630 online grant management training sessions. I think we all knew about this on the 8th of January. We talked about it, and I think Pat mentioned they're in the email that Maryland sends out. It's February the 8th, the 19th, and March the 8th. Please, anyone that can hop on any one of those sessions, it benefits us here at the club. That's all I have. Anything from before? What? All right. Wrote a book. Get wrote a book out of the way. Students that pick the lane. That probably doesn't help your cause. Good try though, guys. All right, the winning number is 3078. 3078. Big bucks. Are you kidding? Nobody has 307.
We got the tickets right after.
That's right after Pat. I bought tickets right after Pat. Going once? Going twice? Ralph? All right, here, I'll come to you, Ralph. There's a black ball in there. Got it. Thank you, sir. And let me get you the envelope. You the report card. $7, Ralph. The jackpot now is $168. Good money, huh? McDonald's drive-through. Yes, sir. I can't even get to McDickies for $7 now. There you go. What a cheap meal that's for Rotary. All right. Again, to educate this fine group, useless but important facts. Everybody knows who Warren Harding is, do they not? He was our 29th president. He loved the game of poker. And apparently, he was quite the high roller. During one of his bi-weekly poker games, Harding gambled away a set of china. However, the china had been in the White House since Benjamin Harrison. And yes, he lost. And the recipient did take the china. Ruthless, huh? Important information. We'll be back here again next Wednesday, the 5th. Again, board meeting on that day. Everybody, well, enjoy the warmth that's come through. But it's like a sun. Get your shorts on. Yeah, enjoy. Everybody have a wonderful day. Take care.